Joe.
Don't wrap it up, I want to get a picture.
Joey.
I'm going to be out of here in a second. So as I grab my fighting.
I know, Joe.
Yeah, that's, I hear you. Oh, thank you.
My congregation is so behaved.
Oh, you know what they say, it's like herding cats.
It's like herding cats, and I love you anyway.
Yeah, herding cats.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to our third Advent, third Sunday, and it's they're going to sit down someday. Don't make me hit you with your cane, okay?
Bye, Joe. Bye, Joe.
Oh, are you leaving? Oh, you just don't feel well? All right, sweetie. Love you. Okay.
Send me healing thoughts. Thank you, Joe.
Feel better.
Okay, I'll get a picture of that.
I wouldn't have nagged him if I'd known he was leaving. I just wanted him to just sit. It's all good. It's all good. We'll include you in our healing prayer today. I said, Joe, I didn't know your voice could get any lower. And his voice is actually lower. Susan?
Yes.
Wow, silence.
Here.
Almost. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, our opening hymn, if you will look in your bulletins, is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. The reason you have it, oh, by the way, your bulletins are multicolored, rather bilious colors, because I have no black printing. So I came up with a variety of ways to produce print that did not involve black ink, so thank you. I worked for 3 days to avoid having to buy a printer, and I failed. So I had to order a new printer. So I was very sad about that, but as I pressed the buy key, I was like, dang.
So it wasn't our cartridge?
It was not the cartridges, it was the black print heads, which on an Epson printer are built into the machine, not the cartridges. So I tried cleaning them with strips of cleaning fluid, and I took it apart, and I did all the stuff, and finally I said, I give up. I give up. Yes.
You want me to look out?
I was going to have Susan come over and look at it, but I didn't want to take up too much of her time. So the reason I printed this insert is because our hymnal has this, but Deborah and I decided we only needed the first and third verses, but we're going to sing along with the London Fox Singers, who sing all 3 verses. Okay, here we go, Russell, hit it. Very good, very good. Yeah, and actually, as you can imagine, in our hymnal, it doesn't say sinners. We have alternate languaging. So now we're going to sit back, take a breath. Let's all be present. Let's not worry about anything we're supposed to do. Anything on our calendars, nothing. Just let it go. Just be here right now in a timeless sort of way. And be in the flow. And today we feel that flow, and we are most certainly in it. There we abide in the heart of love, in our place of peace, our place of calm, our place of certainty that we are in the right place at the right time. Today as we gather together, I give thanks for all of the blessings that have poured upon and through each of us. I give thanks for all the gifts that have appeared for Operation Santa and Senior Santa. I give thanks for all of the work that each of you does in the world to make this world a better place, because each of you is a light bearer. Each of you is a bringer of the dawn. Each of you, as you walk through the world knowing yourself to be in the flow of love, is able to share that love with everyone you encounter. Today we also call upon the powers of healing that each of us has, and we send those powers of healing throughout our circle today, throughout for all of our loved ones, and for the entire world. Feel that flow within you. Send that healing energy. Today is absolutely perfect. I declare it to be so. And we say together, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. And now, let's see. Oh, we have Miss Shirley with her Christmas reading that she did. She found her reading and she found her hearing aids.
Were the reading and the hearing aids together?
Yeah, Shirley, were the reading and the hearing aids in the same place?
The reading started from the first place.
Oh.
See it?
Okay. Okay, you get settled where you'd like to be.
You've got the wrong thing.
Where is it?
It's in my purse or right there. It's a piece of wood. Oh, in my purse. There it is, isn't it?
That's this thing.
That little thing laying there? No. I thought I had it here. Oh, I got it. It's in here. She got it in here accidentally.
In there. So she found it again.
Yeah, found it again.
Okay, this is for all of you And I want you to think that I'm reading it only to one of you at a time, which I'm reading it for all of you, and I love you all so much. This is called A Yuletide Dream. Beautiful poem by Edith Powell Ortman. If I could weave a magic Yuletide dream and gift wrap every loving thought in cellophane, lightly colored, gaily colored memories to gleam like Christmas candles through my window pane. If I could mold a shining silver star from some dear moment you have shared with me, that you might see the beaming from afar upon the tip-top of my Christmas tree. If I could turn the sleigh bells in the snow into the silvery music of your voice, and fashion from the Yule log's cheery glow a talisman to make your hearts rejoice, then I would give this burnished jewel to you, that it might make your Yuletide dreams come true.
While Shirley's getting herself situated again, I just want to, gratitude is one of our best things we do here. And so I just want to say some thanks. First of all, I want to send out in no particular order. I'm just going to start over my left. Paula, thank you so much for doing the Christmas project. We really, really appreciate that. Susan, thank you for keeping track of birthdays and for continuing to keep in communication with our congregants. Thank you. Let's give her a hand. Lynn, thank you, thank you, thank you. She takes care of our donation deposits. She keeps track of all of our readers, and she also has and pays for the word of the year every year. So let's give her a hand. And Rich there in the back struggles with the video recording of the service, but he's very, very consistent with it. And moving along, Nona, thank you for hosting our Tuesdays with Spirit. And that's been a wonderful.
You're welcome.
Well, you're welcome. She says very. And the rest of you, thank you for your love. Thank you, Craig, also for working for a mere pittance on Sundays. I do appreciate that. Let's give him a hand. And Russell, frankly, doesn't get a lot more, but let's give Russell a hand. He is ostensibly the facilitator for Men of Heartlight. We don't have a lot of you, but we love you. We love all the ones that are here. So, you're an amazing, amazing bunch of people.
How about Joe and Cynthia?
Huh?
How about Joe and Cynthia? A gratitude to Joe.
Oh yes, to Joe and Laurel, which I love the plate that Shirley got, because that woman has cooked more food for us for Sundays than I can even begin to imagine. So, yeah, let's give her a hand. So, third Sunday of Advent, thank you, Lynn, for bringing the Joy sign, which is standing right in front of the Transform sign. That's another wonderful tradition that I like. This means a joyous expectation of good. How many of you are expecting good? All the time? All the time. Okay. By the way, I'm going to stop and throw in something here, and I'm going to send you all a link to a video. Everybody else knows about this, but I just found out. How many of you ever go stand on the ground, the earth, with your bare feet? Seriously? Do you do it? Okay, we've got a couple people nodding. Anybody else? Everybody? I cannot tell you, I have just watched all these videos of peer-reviewed scientific research. Grounding yourself with the earth can heal you of many inflammatory diseases, like rheumatoid arthritis, or irritable bowel syndrome, lupus, MS. People are having phenomenal results with spending a few minutes a day with their feet planted on Mother Earth. A woman physician who was a skeptic had a child who was colicky. Those of you who have had children, colicky children, they're in pain, they're upset all the time. she found out that if she stood outside or sat on the ground with her baby in her arms, her baby stopped crying. And when her child was a little older, let her sit on the ground, she stopped crying. Go in the house, she'd start up again. Or put on shoes. Now the child doesn't know from shoes. So I just want to tell you that if you can find a way to do that every day, at least a few minutes, you will be astounded at the health benefits.
I
Yes?
have to rescind my hand.
You're rescinding your hand.
Because I'm barefoot, but I'm on the patio.
Okay, yeah, you gotta be on the, yes, Lynn.
Is it on dirt or on grass?
Grass, dirt, sand down by the ocean, whatever you can do. So I will send you the link to that. It just blew my mind.
I would ask, do they want you to be sandy so it'll go all through you, or?
No, just touching. And as a matter of fact, the man who first found this out back in 1990-something, he worked for a cable company. And he just began to toy with energy and grounding. It's called earthing as well. But he put like this silver tape on his bed, and he put some wires through it and ran the wire outside to a nail, big old spike in the ground. And he laid down on his bed to see if he felt anything, and woke up 9 hours later with the best night's sleep he'd ever had. And usually because he had arthritis, he needed to take some medicine, Advil. So it's amazing. So let's all do that. Okay, back to joy. And feel joyful while you're there, to tie that right in. Do you think you have a right to be joyful?
Yes.
Damn right. And some people say, well, I can't be joyful all the time. Sometimes I'm mad. Sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I'm nervous. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm just aggravated by life. I'm not talking about whether you're happy. If you walk around with a great big grin all the time, people will think you're doing drugs. Okay? And they will probably be right. Enlightenment is a healthier and legal alternative. We can work up to full-time joy. We do have to work at it at times. I know this seems a contradiction. Why should you have to work for something good? Because sometimes you do. So it's just one of life's paradoxes, okay? The more we understand what joy is, the less paradoxical it will seem. This is not the same as happy, haha. I'm happy because I just got something good. It's not the same as happy, okay? We can be happy about a lot of stuff, some more important than others. We can be happy because the car wash was open when we got there. I'm so happy the car wash was open. I was so happy that Big Lots was open. Because I remembered my contribution, or I should say, Sandra's my contributions, because we both had tags, to this project at 8:15 last night. Whereupon I saw the tags on the counter and said, in a rather loud voice, "Oh crap." And Sandra from her perch, because she still, by the way, can't walk a step without tilting sideways, she has positional vertigo, and it will clear up, but it just takes time. It's where little tiny granules way down in the ear move, and they have to settle back, and they don't know what causes it, but literally she goes this way and goes that way, so she just can't get around, but it will be fine. So anyway, she said, "What?" And I said, "Christmas project? Hello? 8:15? Okay, Google, when does Big Lots close?" Big Lots closes at 11 o'clock. Okay. Sandra gave me her debit card and said, "This is on me." So I came away with a trunk full of toys for the kids. So that was really great. But at the moment, I was not happy. But I was happy when I got to Big Lots and saw a fabulous selection of educational and fun toys, which we didn't do guns, we didn't do war, we didn't do Spider-Man, and we didn't do WWE. Just for those of you who don't know, that's wrestling. It's a big thing, apparently. So, do you ever do a happy dance? Maybe actually don't dance, but sometimes you might dance. And you feel it inside, and your little feet just want to... Did you ever see that movie, Happy Feet, about the penguins? That was pretty cute. He was dancing because he was happy. He was dancing because he had joy. And I just love that. Joy is freely available. Some people say, I can't be happy because of fill in the blank. It does not rely on possessions Possessions are fun. Joy does not rely on possessions. It does not rely on people. Very unpredictable people are. Okay? And it doesn't rely on position. How important you are. Does that make sense? It isn't about being first, being right, being better, and all those things the ego mind loves. The dance of joy depends only on one thing. We choose to say, I'm a being of God, and I'm fine. And I'm fine. Things may be a little rocky, but I'm fine. It's like waltzing with the universe to this music only you can hear. It's your waltz. It's the most beautiful music you've ever heard, and it's who you are. Okay? It's like your own divine backing track. This is what our souls experience, and it's more profound than happy, content, satisfied, relieved. Those are nice, but they're not quite joy. Okay? The phenomenon of joy is made up of equal parts awe. People doing your awe aerobics? Awe, gratitude. Gratitude aerobics are good too. And divine awareness that you're a child of God and that you're perfect the way you are. That doesn't happen by accident. That's something that you practice and practice and practice. It will look different for each person. The Sunday before last we talked about faith, which is the cornerstone of our spirituality. And last Sunday we talked about peace. And we talked about how nice it is to feel peaceful. How many of you feel peaceful at least once a day or more often? It might be not all day, but you can go back to it. It might be a little moment of peace, but that's another element to the practice. We have faith, we have peace, and now we have joy. And it requires as much intention as faith and peace. Some people drift along saying, well, I'm just waiting to get happy. Well, you could wait a really long time. I'm just waiting for peace. I'm just waiting to feel good. Again, it could be a very long wait, unless you choose it. Life is not a wait and see. Okay, and it's a very common habit of human beings to wait for someone else, something else out there to happen. Someone to fix something. Someone to fix their lives. Or have some stupendous revelation. More money, more health, more time. What else is on your list? More cooperation, more assistance, all of it. Waiting for the planets to align, waiting till it's another season, when it's colder, when it'll be warmer. And finally you have to ask yourself, what am I waiting for? I said at the very beginning, there's a lot of talk among certain traditions about waiting for a Messiah. Some people think it's Messiahs come, others don't. Fine, whatever. We don't have to worry because we're the ones we were waiting for. We're the answer to our prayers. We're the angels. We're the workers of miracles. We're the people, as Gene Houston says, of the parenthesis. We're in between this wonderful shift we're having into a new age. Okay? So life needs us to show up. And I don't mean do all the work, wear yourself out, become a rag. Life needs us to show up in consciousness. Okay? Every day of our lives. It needs us to take our spiritual responsibility to heart. Life needs us to live our faith. Life needs us to be bringers of peace. Life, universe, God, call it whatever you'd like, needs us to, one in the back,
Transform.
thank you, so that we have a lot of
Joy.
yes, in our lives and everybody else's. I like this. We have a compound sentence going here. So, we declare, we affirm, we intend. We intend. So, what does that lifestyle look like? Okay, first of all, I would invite you to give up energy-sapping practices like pessimism. How many of you said, oh, that's not going to work? You could have been right, but you might have said that. But if that's your first comment, that's not going to work. Well, it isn't. How about doubt? You know, that person always lets me down. I think they're just going to let me down again. What's the result of that? Probably gonna let you down. I told you, remember, expect the best of people and give them an opportunity to prove it. Give them an opportunity to prove it. We could give up our neutrality. Oh, I don't care one way or the other. Yes, we do. We have to care. We have to care in the name of love. It doesn't mean we have to jump into every argument. It does not mean we have to take sides. We have to care. Okay? So get rid of, yes.
Expect the best in people.
And then give them a chance to live up to it. Yeah, because there's many times I've done it myself where I don't expect the best. People that when I used to work in corporate America, I used to look at people and go, well, I'm not going to put her on that job. You know, I mean, just make judgments all the time. So I think I could have been more positive about that and expected better of people. The other thing we do is, everybody says, well, I want to hedge my bets. I don't know if I want to come down on really believing. I want to kind of believe until I'm sure. How does that work for you? Not at all. I'll tell you the best wager you'll ever make. Those of you prone to gambling. God is good. How about that for a wager? That's called faith. Life can be unpredictable. Oh my God, can it be unpredictable? But we don't need to be unpredictable. As a matter of fact, I would ask you to be predictable in a wonderful way that makes everyone around you feel respected, safe, and loved. Would you like to be that person? That's so predictable, that always sees the good in people, always finds the silver lining. The people about whom others say, she takes such a positive approach to problems. He obviously cares about everything he does. Does that sound like the person that you want to go through life being? Yes, we can be that predictable. It is the inevitable result of our spiritual practice. It isn't that complicated. We love to make things complicated. We even try to complicate spirituality. We ask the same questions over and over. We get different answers depending on whom we ask, and then we say, I'm so confused. I don't know what to think. And I've told you, who's the one person you need to listen to? Okay? We just be grateful and listen. That's really all it takes. We know how to find the silver lining because we know it's there. Why do we know it's there? Because God is good. Because life has to work out eventually, even if we don't exactly see it. Okay? By the way, we don't try to be grateful. We are grateful. Okay? We don't wonder if there might be a blessing in all this. To wonder is not the same as to believe. By the way, one of the best ways to have more joy is to share more joy. Right? Give it out. Give it out. So, fortunately, there's a perfect story for this. That begins once upon a time. Once upon a time, a vintner, a maker of wine, knocked on the door of the monastery that stood near his village. And when the monk who tended the gate opened up, he handed him the most magnificent bunch of grapes, luscious, little dew falling off of them, just makes you want to have them right now. He'd ever seen in his life. The farmer said, "Brother, these are the finest grapes my vineyard has ever produced. I've come to give them to you." Craig, can I get a refill from my water bottle that's over by my handbag somewhere? Thank you. And so the gatekeeper monk says, "Thank you, dear. Well, I will take them right to the abbot," you know, the head guy. "This is a gift." "Oh, no," says the vintner. "I brought them to you." And the monk blushed, kind of a modest guy. He goes, "But I'm not worthy of this beautiful gift." And the vintner says, "You know what? Whenever I knocked on the door, you opened it." "Thank you, sir." "When I needed help because my crop was destroyed and I knocked on the door, you gave me bread and cheese and wine every day. Now my crop is bountiful. And I want to bring you this bunch of grapes that brings you a little bit of the sun's love, the rain's beauty, something that brought me so much joy." And away he went. Well, the monk admired the grapes during the morning hours, but he remembered that the abbot was always so encouraging and always had words of wisdom for him. So he took the gift of grapes to the abbot, who admired them and said, "Oh my goodness." He was very pleased. But as he stood there looking at them on his desk, he said, You know, one of our brothers has been so ill lately. I think this would cheer him immensely. I will give him the grapes. They will bring some joy to his life. So that's what he did. He took him to the monk who was ill. A little later, the cook came to bring the ill monk his tray. And the monk who was ill said, "You have looked after me so kindly for so many days, and you've brought me food every single day. I know you will think of something wonderful to do with this bountiful gift of grapes." Well, the cook was delighted. And then he took him back to the kitchen. But then he thought of the sexton who was in charge of the sacrament and was considered perhaps the most holy man in all the monastery because he was so peaceful, so loving, so wonderful. Certainly he would be the one to best appreciate this marvelous example of God's work. And the sexton did appreciate them. However, he decided that they would be a great example of the wonders of God in even the smallest detail, like a grape, if he presented them to the youngest novice in the monastery. And the young novice was, for me, I'm like the youngest one. And then that sincere and beautiful young man remembered that one person in particular had made him feel very welcome on the first day he came to the monastery. It made him feel like he belonged there, and he wanted to share this joy. So he presented them to the keeper of the gate. And he said to the keeper of the gate,